Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Eyes on Leafs podcast.
Hello.
No Mateo today.
This will be the best show that we've ever done.
Yeah, this is one's gonna do numbers.
We got rid of our
We're gonna
biggest
get like
liability.
we're gonna put up, like 20 million views today. Yeah. So
Add on 20 million from our last 20 million viewer increase.
just add a couple zeros. It's not that hard. No, yeah. Mateo's in LA right now. He was our Eyes on Leafs representative for the California road
Yeah.
trip. I think is he going to the game
I
today
think he
too?
is. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you guys
I think
follow
he's-
our Instagram page, you'll know that he was there last night because you saw his live story updates. You know what I didn't realize
Yeah.
is how cool Los Angeles jumbotron is.
Honestly, I didn't even notice. I think the coolest one is Climate Pledge.
That one's
Arena,
pretty cool.
Seattle's.
It's like they've got two.
That
one
one's
on either
sick because
side,
it's
right?
the two. Yeah, it's
I
so
like
cool.
Tampa's at Amalie Arena too.
Climate Pledge is the only one that I'm like is notable in my brain. The rest of them are all just kind of like the same.
True.
to me.
Tampa's is like a fucking rectangle. It's just cool to me.
Anyways,
Enough
enough
jumbotron
with the
corner. Replacing goalie quarters if Mateo's not
Yeah,
here.
the jumbotron. Great segment, dude. Jumbotron corner. We got to bring that back.
Yeah, we
next week.
do. We
Holy
do.
shit. I'm just gonna start like googling jumbotrons.
Yeah, but the segment next week will just be like how the other 30 all look the same.
This is a great show already. Jesus Christ. All
Anyways,
right.
the Leafs played
Anyways,
last night.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is podcast what 15?
Yeah, I think 15.
I think it's 15. We're gonna get to a point where we just lose track.
Well, we're just gonna have to
Yeah.
start
So
naming them.
Leafs. Yeah. Leafs last night played the Kings as we were just talking about. Big 3-1 win. Sorry. Big 3-1 win against a pretty formidable team.
Yeah. Well, we were going off on the broadcast all night about the Kings' home record this season, which
Yeah.
before last night was. Hold on, I'm just looking at it just to make sure. Before last night, it was
can look now,
26-3-4 on the season. Only three
Yeah.
regulation losses. Now, obviously, 26-4-4. So that's a big win for the Leafs.
It's like the most Leaf thing ever to drop 2 games in overtime to the San Jose Sharks.
Shootout.
In like or one shootout.
They were both shootout.
And then one over. They were
Yeah.
both shootout? That's brutal, man. I didn't watch the third period of that game because it was too late. I don't know how they play. I didn't see the comeback at all. But
Actually, I watched
it's just
the comeback exclusively because that was was the
Wow.
night I was playing. I'm in a band. It's called The Herrings. Follow us on Instagram. It's a native plug. um, yeah, but I got home and I just turned it on and I think I fell asleep before the overtime even started because I was exhausted.
Yeah, no, I had work the next day, so I couldn't watch the full
Yeah.
thing. But I saw like that game. They kind of just looked tired, which I hate. It's not an excuse, but it's just how they looked. Like they just looked kind of slow.
Yeah.
For those first 2
And
periods.
I think I'll say the same thing about exact same thing about last night because I don't think you watched much of the game last night.
No, I didn't watch. The only thing I saw was the Carlo fight live, and then I left for. I played Shinny last
Nice.
night, so
I
did not get to catch
yeah,
that.
I
Game.
caught most of it, and honestly, I'd say the exact same thing. They looked first 2 periods like slow, tired, which tired is fine when it was out of the Four Nations. I think there was a point in time where they had played 6 games in 9 days. Like tired's fine
Yeah.
then. When are you gonna stop being tired, guys? Like you've all, there's no rookies on this team. is there?
Unfortunately,
Like,
unfortunately, you're like professional athletes, and this is like kind of your thing. Like you do this every year. I'm not gonna like really accept like the tired excuse.
it's just
Unless it's like what you just mentioned with before the Four Nations with that like kind of 6 games in 9 days or something like
and with travel, like that's okay. Be tired then.
with travel
Like,
too.
that's
yeah.
cool. But to be, and they look sloppy too. And I think last night I was
the issue.
watching the game, and as us sports fans do, I was getting pissed off Like, you guys suck. Like, you can't keep a puck on your stick. Can't make a fucking pass. Can't complete a play. Like, I have to give some kudos to the Los Angeles Kings. They are like a solid defensive team. They really clamp the Leafs.
Dude, they remind me, not just from the game yesterday, but like in general this season, they kind of remind me of what the Islanders were a couple years ago when they were making those conference finals runs. DJ Smith has really kind of turned that team into a really like strong defensively
it's
responsible squad. They don't rely on scoring as much.
Yeah.
Kemper's been really good for
Well,
them.
that's the thing. I was gonna say. I realized last night. I was thinking about it. Like, yeah, they don't have a lot of offensive weapons. I think that's just kind of a subconscious connection I make. But they do. Like Adrian Kempe, Kevin Fiala,
They have Fiala,
Quentin Byfield,
yeah.
even Kopitar.
Although I think Kopitar too. Yeah. I think Fiala's kind of been struggling this season though too. Actually, that's a lie. I mean, 50 points for his standard, it's kind of struggling.
For his standard, yeah. Like
I mean, in general,
every time I look at Kevin Fiala's stats, I'm like, yeah, this is not the player that they got him to be. But, I didn't even realize it's only his third season in Los Angeles.
dude. But they're like, they don't really have anybody that's scoring like a crazy. Their leading scorer is Kempe with 58 points, and he leads them in goals, 29. Like
It's so funny how
they really don't rely on scoring. Like they're a very interesting team. Like I said, they really remind me of like the Islanders from a couple years ago.
They're kind of like the evil Edmonton Oilers.
Evil Oilers.
No, but I really like LA's forward core. Like watching the game last night, I didn't realize how formidable and deep their forward group is.
They are very deep, yeah, and that's without Dubois too.
Oh, they're without Dubois right
Like
now.
that's shedding Dubois. Well, the Dubois on Washington, dude. How do you think they got Darcy Kemper, brother?
Fuck me. Oh my god, that's. Well, to be fair, it's not like he was doing much in Los Angeles.
No, he was terrible.
Yeah, and they are without Tanner Jeannot, right? But I mean, yeah, you say what you want about Tanner Jeannot.
Hey, there was once upon a time that guy was traded for like a draft class.
I know you almost said once to a time. I heard the hesitation.
Anyway,
This is a great show.
We never talked about the Philly win either.
Do you want to go?
That Philly win
Do you
was
want to
huge.
go in order? I think the last show was before the Nashville game, even.
Yeah, it was before the Nashville game, so we could start there. Yeah. if anything.
Yeah, they stunk. That was so terrible. What was it? 5 unanswered goals.
That was
bad.
That was another game I didn't really catch too much of, but it's kind of the same story. Just brutal collapse. They were up 2-0, and then 5 unanswered goals against one of the worst teams in the league. It's
how it goes.
These are these are losses that you can't be taking.
Nope.
Like if the Leafs won these games against these teams that are bottom feeders, on top of what they win against like divisional opponents and everything, they'd like be easily in first place.
100%.
They would probably be like in the same realm as Winnipeg and Washington.
100%. Because even in the past 2 weeks, like both San Jose games and the Nashville game, that's 4 points right there. That puts them up to 96 points, which
Like
they would
dude,
be.
that puts you easily in the division lead. Like you're not
they'd be
worried
5th
about
in the
it
league
at that
with
point.
96 points, and like you said,
Dude,
easily in the
it's
division lead.
these are really important games, especially against these bottom feeder teams. Like these are the 3 points that you're not going to necessarily have guarantees of against teams like the Kings, which like don't get me wrong, I am ecstatic that they are getting these kinds of wins against like teams like the Kings and whatever. But
Sorry, I'm laughing at the fidget spinner.
oh yeah.
2025.
No, every pod I have something that I like fidget with because I'm bad with
No, me
fidgeting,
too.
so I'll always have something that like is under the desk or something that I'm fidgeting with. And the first thing I grabbed today was this fidget spinner that I got like it's almost 10 years ago at this point. But
Don't say that. Oh my god.
yeah, so
For me, it's just my water bottle. Like I just
fidget
take sips of water.
That's a healthy fidget. Anyways,
Uh,
we are getting so off track this show.
yeah. So, but I think one thing that's been kind of upsetting for me is that they weren't this team earlier in the year. Like they were able to finish games
Yeah,
against terrible teams.
yeah. They were pretty. I mean, consistency has been an issue this season in
100%.
general, but in normally they'd be winning these games against these bottom feeder teams, and they did it against Philly. They stomped on Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Like that
yeah.
game was one of the most demoralizing games I've ever seen. That game got torch fired, which we'll talk about later
We
in
will.
the show. No, I am just yeah. These are free points that they should be getting, and they're dropping game. Like they got 2 points out of San Jose when they should have had 4.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole other 2 points
You
there.
need 4.
Winning those 2 games against San Jose puts them up to 94 points, and even with Florida having a game in hand right now, that could pretty much secure you the division.
Yeah, you just got to keep it up
at
for
this
the rest
point
of the
in the
season. And
I wanted to mention real quick as well, speaking of Florida, we're going to be keeping up with the Florida and Montreal game. I think we'll talk about it a little later, but that game has some pretty important significance for the Leafs right now. It's 0-0 right now. Montreal's on the power play, and they're out shooting Florida 7-5.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an important game for Montreal too.
For Montreal, yep, definitely that wild card race, which again we'll talk about later.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think,
get into
but,
that later.
That wild card race got even tighter now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah, going back to the Leafs. Well, yeah, that Philly win's good. I really don't have much to say about that. That was they.
They looked just strong in that game. They were kind of doing everything right. Good puck battles. They were getting in on the forecheck. Like there wasn't really any like big flashy goals until later on in the game when they
looked
scoring a lot.
how
Like,
they should look against a team like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like dominance.
Yeah, like they were dominant.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be encouraging, but then San Jose happened.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
we already kind of
at
talked about
least-
that. Lawton's first goal though.
Lawton's first goal, that was a nice goal too.
Yeah, Lawton I think has looked a lot better if we want to talk about him.
Yeah,
too, real quick.
I really like when new players come to the Leafs because I feel like every time it's just like they bring something different. Like no matter who it is, like even Scott Lawton, just a third line winger at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's just he has this different flavor that he plays with. There's obviously mostly it's been on the defensive side of the ice that we've noticed. Like he's hard in the corners. He has a strong stick.
Yeah.
Good positioning. I've really liked him on the penalty kill so far.
Yeah, but good on the penalty kill from what we've seen.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind trying him at center again. But I mean the Lawton and Domi. Well, it was Lawton, Domi, Robertson. Last night it was Yarncroke there, who I liked there too.
Yeah.
It seems like that might be a fit. You can't really take McMahon off of his Forrest and Nylander line now because he's looked so
No,
good.
that
there.
line has to
Yeah.
stick. It has to stick. You can't with the way they've been playing the past ever since they've gone together. You can't separate that line. They've been
Yeah,
dynamite.
and McMahon's playing some of the best hockey of his career right now. I think he and Nyes were the best players on the ice last night.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that.
Sure.
I didn't see the game much yesterday, so I'm not sure how well they played. But no, to the point on Lawton, they've like, I think they've really, I don't want to say struggled to find a spot for him, but I don't think they're doing a good job of it. I don't think they've, at least in the first few games, they really were not giving him like a consistent line to kind of figure things out as a Leaf, especially after spending, I don't know how long, it was like 12 years in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like they really were not giving him like a proper, kind of they weren't putting him in a position to succeed.
Yeah, fourth
what I'm
line
trying to
with
say.
David Kemp and Steven Lorentz.
Yeah, like they were throwing him. Yeah, like they were throwing him fourth line center, third line left wing, third line center. It was like a different third line every night. And then even during games, I was noticing they're throwing him in like the top six with Marner and Matthews, or they were throwing in the top six with Tavares and Nylander. Like it's not a recipe for success to be shuffling a guy around, and I'm kind of happy that they're stabilizing it a little more, and he's looked better now. Like
For sure.
he's been a lot, I think, better in the defensive zone. Good in on the forecheck and everything, which is kind of what we expected, and got his first goal, which is a huge monkey off the back for him. So I guess we'll see how this keeps going into the playoffs and this final stretch of the season here. Hopefully he kind of continues the success with the third line. And speaking of the third line, if we want to talk about Robertson and kind of Benoit and their struggles recently.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll see.
Unless you had a point on line.
Only thing I was going to say was, I think the bottom six has looked good in the last couple games, and I think they're kind of playing at the level and in the role that you need them to right now. Like Kampf and Lorentz on the fourth. Who was it? Holmberg was the third guy there last night. I don't have much to say about Pontus Holmberg, but Kampf and Lorentz over the last couple games, they've looked really strong. Just like they've been like, I think in years past, at least, have kind of had like a certain energy in their fourth line. Just go out, like skate really hard, pressure, forecheck, and they get some good scoring chances. Obviously, those players kind of lack high-end offensive skill, so not much really comes of it. But offensive zone face-offs, offensive zone time, that's not a bad thing. Pucks on net.
Yeah, like that's kind of what you can expect from your fourth line, though. Like if you expect your fourth line to score, it's kind of wishful thinking. Like most of the time, that's what you need from your fourth line. You need just don't play in our end.
Yeah,
go out there, just forecheck, play hard, keep the puck in their end for 2 minutes while we give our literally just tire them out, give our top guys a rest so that when they go back out there, it's a break for your top guys, and as long as they're not playing in your end and you're wearing down the other team, being hard on the forecheck, whatever. That's all you can really expect from your fourth line, I think. So they do that job well, and Lorentz has been pretty good this season.
I really like him.
Has had some crazy clutch goals, man. Like that guy, he has a little bit of a scoring touch sometimes, like occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 goals in the playoffs, didn't he, last year for Florida in their
something
cup
like
run?
that.
Like,
He is exactly the type of guy I think that is like the perfect fourth line player in the playoffs. And even this regular season for the Leafs, I think a quarter of his goals have been game winners.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
Who do you give an 8-year extension to first? Mitch Marner or Steven Lorentz?
Steven Lorentz.
Easily. Keep this guy in Toronto.
If Steven Lorentz leaves this summer, I think I'm actually going to start bawling. I'm going to post a video on our account of me just crying.
I think there's a very small chance that happens.
I hope
because I don't think he's had a season that like warrants him getting more than like $1.5 million. Like, I mean, Bobby McMahon scored.
I don't even know if he gets that this season,
got
dude.
$1.5 million. So like,
yeah, we'll see. I hope he does stay. But anyways, moving on to Benoit and Robertson here. Benoit last night. Again, I know I didn't watch, but I watched some of the highlights, and just that play on the Lafreniere goal was just brutal. Like he's struggled ever since the trade deadline, I'd say. Just watching, he's and all season kind of, he just hasn't been as strong. Needless penalties. Just really needless penalties.
Spends a lot of the
slow.
He spends way too much time in the box. Yeah, he's slow. What does he bring to this team that like Philippe Myers or Marshall Rafai even doesn't?
Dude, I was gonna say at this point, like, can you justify playing Benoit on the third pair and moving OEL to his weak side over just having OEL move to the left again on that bottom pair and having Philippe Myers there? I honest to God feel like Philippe Myers, when playing with some of the more upper echelon guys on our defense core, has looked better than Simone Benoit has this season. And I think that we saw them both at their... I think right now Benoit's at his worst, but we saw them both play poorly together, which, I mean, it's two like depth guys. I don't think you can expect a great pairing there, but I feel like at this point right now, Philippe Myers is a better option to play with OEL right now than Simone Benoit. And if you play Philippe Myers, you get to move OEL back to his strong side.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna use that logic with Robertson and Holmberg, I think I don't know why the same hasn't applied to Simone Benoit. Like I think he has more than proven that he should be healthy scratched over the past couple
Yeah.
weeks.
It's getting Benoit last year was a guy that I was like, this I am so comfortable with this dude on my team going into the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah.
Like especially when playing with Jake McCabe. He was awesome last year on that pairing. That pairing was amazing. Like now seeing Tanev and McCabe this year, I think I have a different opinion of that pairing last year. I think it was just the best that we had. But it was a good pairing last year, and I think that did elevate Benoit's play a lot. And he was doing a lot of the things that we haven't really seen much this year. Like, honest to God, last year Benoit was that guy was a hit monster last season. Like he had some really good hits that changed momentum in games, and we haven't really seen that this year. Instead, all we've seen is just needless penalties. He's been really slow. He's gotten walked multiple times, like last night with on that Lafreniere play. I think it's just too many little mistakes at this point in the season that like you can't afford to have this in the lineup. He either has to play better or you got to move to somebody else. And right now, that only option really is Philippe Myers.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's taken this long for them to get to this point. Like I don't know if I doubt the Leafs practice today, so I don't think we have any lineup.
They play the Ducks tonight.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm wondering if we're gonna see him play tonight because that's a former team. If he doesn't play tonight, that would be a huge kind of maybe wake up call for him if they scratch him.
I mean, hopefully, because the problem is Philippe Myers has been good. Like I don't think Philippe Myers
he's been pretty solid.
Worse than Simone Benoit. Like at worst, he's been
better.
The same, right? Like I think he's been better. Like
I think at this point in the season, this isn't like the season opener a couple of years ago where Babcock scratched Spezza for no reason, right?
Yeah.
Like these are games you have to win. You have to win these games. You have to make the lineup decisions that are going to win you that game.
We're in a tight race for the
honest to God,
division win for home ice advantage for not playing one of Tampa or Florida in the first round.
You cannot go into a game playing these guys that like, oh, this is a former team, let's play him. Let him, get his revenge or something. You can't ice the best team that you can. I don't think Benoit on this team right now I don't think this team is the best version of itself when Benoit is playing.
And I think they're in the same headspace as you right now because last night in Los Angeles was Nick Robertson's homecoming game.
They scratched Robertson. Yep.
Which is, I mean, fair. Like he's not for lack of a better term, defensively sound player. So, and Los Angeles is a very defensively sound team. You kind of need to shut them down best you can.
Match that.
Holmberg and Yarncroke give you the best chance for that. And look at that, they won. I know this isn't on our outline, but moving on from Benoit and Robertson, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the penalties recently.
We didn't even really talk about Robertson.
I
mean, I don't know what else there really is to say. Yeah, not really. It's just kind of like
he'll probably score today. He always scores after being scratched.
Yeah, he's just like this has been the issue I think with Robertson for a while. It's just like defensive issues and mistakes.
He just needs to like get stronger, like physically stronger. I think he'd do him a lot of good.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how he plays tonight.
I just wanted to talk about something that I've noticed in every single game over the past couple of weeks is the refs are calling these games like it's the playoffs, and it's really pissing me off because it is like game 70 of the regular season. Like, relax. We're not there yet.
That's why I quit the NHL. Too many swipes.
Shut the fuck up. No, but it's just like every game there's like 2 or 3 penalties. Like last night, I think they were both in the first period. I forget who it was on the Kings, but he just took out Ekman Larson by the skate.
I know. Didn't Darcy Kemper get a penalty too? Because he just like
I'll get to that. He did get called for that though. Ekman Larson actually ended up going to the dressing room. Thankfully, he wasn't gone very long. But I mean, he could have been a bad injury. It was an ugly play. I don't know if you saw it. And then there was another one in the first period where someone just slashed Lorenz's stick right out of his hand. And I think there was another one where it happened to Marner too, and Marner didn't have a good game last night. But it's just I'm confused why it's changing now. Like I don't think I've ever seen this before in the close to 10 years that I've been closely watching the NHL.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe yeah, honestly, I couldn't even tell you because even when we're in a playoff series, it follows the same pattern every time. At
Yep.
the beginning of the series, they'll call it relative amount,
Yep.
and then once you start getting to that game 4 or 5, it starts
Yeah.
dropping off, and then game 7, it's nothing. It's you're just gonna let these teams play. Best team wins.
Game
That's
one
it.
and two is like 5 penalties aside. They just like
Yeah, like yeah, it just yeah, no, I haven't even I'm gonna start paying attention to that a little more now because I have not really noticed the kind of penalty. Oh, sorry, quickly on Montreal, Florida. It is now 1-1
whoa.
end of the first period. Line scored for Montreal, and then Ryan Hart a minute and 13 seconds
Wow.
later claps back with a goal. So Florida entering the second period with a power play. You suck, Montreal.
Fuck. Ah. Yeah, but
I don't
that
like that
Kemper
at
penalty
all.
last night was hilarious. Matthews comes back. He's like Matthews is skating backwards around the back of the net, and Kemper just fucking sweeps his stick under his skates. And you're like, what the fuck, man? You can't do
Honestly,
that.
like kind of base though.
It was
Like
hilarious.
when you're in a tight game like that, like if you're not going to injure him, like
He might have stopped the
what
goal,
I
but
hate
the
if
Leafs
Anthony
scored on that power play.
that is
Yeah.
true. So you know what, bad decision. But you know what, would I be extremely mad if Anthony Stolars did that? I don't know. Also, from what I saw, had a great game yesterday.
He did.
Anthony
He did.
Stolars really bailed the Leafs out. I think a lot of people were saying that was like his best game since the Four Nations break.
Yeah, I think so. From what I saw, I don't think Los Angeles had like too many uh like high danger chances. That's not a fact. I haven't looked up any actual statistics on that, but just my own eyes, that's my perception. But yeah, Stolar played really well. The Leafs
Yeah.
did a good, like for all I said about Los Angeles playing a good defensive game, the Leafs did too.
Yeah, you know what though? Like to your point though on the he didn't have that many high danger chances. That's kind of what we want. Like
True, yeah, that's
we shouldn't be worried about that. We shouldn't be worried about our goalie having to bail us out every, 5 seconds. And I think with the Leafs goaltending seemingly kind of, I don't want to say falling off, but it's kind of come back down to earth
yeah,
from what it was for most of the season. Like we were watching these guys literally bail us out every single night.
yeah,
I think with that coming down to earth a little bit, it's kind of forcing the Leafs to get back in those defensive habits that they sort of lost. And I think, although it seems like a bad thing that the goaltending might be coming down to earth, I think it could be a good thing for this team to kind of have to learn how to play strong defensive games again. Like I said, we kind of watched that slip a bit this season. And yeah, it is good, I think, to see them play that kind of strong defensive game like they did last night.
yeah.
And Anthony Stolarz last night had a 3.1 expected goals against average.
Nice.
So, or sorry, expected goals against, not expected goals against average. So that's a pretty solid game from your goalie. Can't really expect much more.
No.
2.1 goals saved above expected. Pretty solid, man. Like that's what you need from your goalies, especially when you come to playoff time. If the Leafs can play that defensive game like they did yesterday,
I mean,
it's a recipe for success.
yeah, that's what won them the game last night. I mean, without the empty net, it's 2-1. That's a dead close game, and you just capitalized when you needed to with a 4-on-3 power play goal and a shorthanded goal. You just take the chances you get.
Also, Austin Matthews had a 1.29 goals expected goals yesterday.
1.29?
He 1.92. He had 39.81% of Toronto's expected goals yesterday. The best on the Kings was Andrei Kuzmenko with 0.63.
So he had a good game.
Yeah, but not bad.
No, so, all
There's been
right,
better.
all right.
There's been better. Yeah. I
Jesus.
think, yeah, goaltending, Stolarz was great. Yeah, John Tavares with another really strong performance yesterday. He's been on
He has
fire
been fabulous.
since the Four Nations break. It seems like that's kind of, you could argue, snub potentially. He's been on
Yeah.
fire, man. He could push 40 this season.
I mean, we've got what, 10 games, 9 games left, and he's only 5 goals away. With how he's been playing, I think he easily
Like,
does it.
yeah, like I mean,
He's already passed his goals and point total from last season. That's crazy. He's
yeah,
only played
like
66
I think,
games. Oh my god.
I think we've talked about John Tavares a bit this season in general about how he's kind of had a really good resurgence.
For sure.
You could put that on a contract, like it being a contract year or whatever, but I think a lot of it too has to come down to, I think, the captaincy coming off of his shoulders probably has helped him a
True.
lot.
Releases a lot of the pressure.
I think, yeah, and I think if this guy isn't in a Leaf uniform next season, I think this is a crime to this group.
100%.
We're gonna see what he gets. Hopefully, he takes some sort of a discount. I'm really hoping he does. It's looking like it's going to be in that 7 mil range, and with the way he's playing now, honestly, this guy could argue for over 8.5.
I mean, like, this is one of his best
playing, but
offensive production seasons of his entire career.
that's
Like,
what I'm. That's what's crazy about this man. This guy's like 34, and he's having his best season since his first year in Toronto when he had 47 goals.
Yeah.
This is like the most points he's had. This is the most points per game I think he's had since that season.
It
Best
is.
goals per game since that season.
Yeah, like if he hits 40, it'll be the second time in his career.
That's crazy.
And the other time
That's
was his
insane.
first season in Toronto when he had 47.
And he's 34, about to. I'm wondering if we kind of see like a Joel Pavelski arc with this.
That's
John
kind of what I'm
Tavares
thinking.
here.
Like, if he goes to the open market, yeah, I think he could probably get like a 10-by-3 contract, Pavelski-esque.
Potentially, like if there's a bidding war for him,
Yeah,
it's not out of the question.
I mean, he's been good. Like, you could probably, like, on a team that doesn't have that first line center, I mean, he could fill that role. Like, wouldn't he be?
He could be a decent first line center at least for the next season. We'll see after.
like,
that,
wouldn't he
but
be nice on Buffalo?
don't even like you need to stop right now with whatever you just said. If anything, I will do the rest of this podcast by myself. That is you stop.
That's not a podcast. That's
right
a
now.
monologue.
That's a monologue.
No,
yeah.
I want Toronto. I want Tavares back on the Leafs next season. I want Tavares to retire as a Toronto Maple Leaf. I don't want him to play
Yes,
anywhere else.
me too.
He is one of my favorite players.
If he isn't a Leaf next season, that is a crime to this fan base and the team itself.
100%.
You're depriving yourself of one of your best leaders if you don't re-sign this guy.
Yep.
He needs to be a Leaf for the rest of his
Yeah,
career.
like like the way he's been playing this season, like even if he has a fall off, do you see him scoring less than 40, 50 points in a season ever? Unless he plays till he's 45.
No, especially I think if he does come back these next 2 years, I think they are going to probably more seriously look into moving him to the wing. Maybe they don't. We'll
Yeah.
see. He's looked good at center this season, so I don't know. I think that was more of like a before this season kind of dialogue where everybody was talking about, maybe it's time to move this guy to the wing, and we've seen them do it before when they got Ryan O'Reilly.
Yeah.
They moved Tavares over to the wing.
I mean,
but
I think
with his play this season, maybe you don't have to do that. We'll
No,
see.
but-
I think it is something they should consider maybe later on, but I think moving him to the wing is something that could prolong. You good?
yeah, I just thought I heard a knock at my door, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
But
It's the Marner family.
I was just gonna say they need another center, anyways. Like someone, and this kills me. Someone like Dylan Cousins, who's do you hear that?
I think, yeah.
Banging.
It sounds like somebody's like hammering
Probably
something.
what it is. I guess that someone just moved in yesterday. They're probably hanging shelves or something.
Probably.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
not my door. I
Anyways,
was just gonna say they need a center anyways. Like if they could get someone younger, up and coming, that could maybe eventually take the 2C role, or even Tavares is the 3C. Like you need that player.
you know who
anyways.
would have been perfect. You know who would have been
Dylan
perfect
Cousins,
and was a no. Who was a free agent?
Dylan Strome.
Dylan Strome,
Dude, I don't know
If
why the
that-
Leafs weren't like all over that man. Like he was coming off a
All
good
over that.
season in Chicago, and he got a 1-year, $3 million contract.
$3 million. That guy was making less than Alexander Kerfoot that season.
What the fuck?
Like, how are you not all over that? That is like your future 2C. Now he's the first line center in Washington. This guy's a point per game player right now. Setting up, he's gonna be the guy who like sets up Ovi's like record breaking goal.
That was the year that we signed Peter Mrazek to a $3.8 million contract, was it not?
And Calle Yarncroke. Although I'm
yeah, I
not
can't
that
complain
upset
about
about Calle Yarncroke, but like, just it that's besides the point. Anyways, yeah. John Tavares has been great this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Should be a Leaf. Do we want to talk about Nylander?
What's there to say? He's great.
Yeah, that guy is like boss.
Keep doing what you're doing, William.
Like, okay, actually, no. I did have a question before going into this. So let's set an over under here,
Okay.
all right? And I'm gonna keep note of this, and we'll look back at it at the end of the season. I'll text Mateo for his opinion too.
Sure.
Nylander over or under 48.5 goals this season.
What's he at? 42 right now?
42. There's about 10 games left, or 9 games left. He's been streaky this year in terms of goal scoring.
Over. He's hitting 50. I think he hit.
You're hitting the over, eh?
Yep. He scores his goals in pairs.
I'm gonna sound like a pessimist. I'm gonna take the under
Unk.
on 48.5. I'm gonna say he gets that 47, 48. What?
You
How does that make any
you
sense?
hate Nylander, you're an uncle.
Oh, I hate Nylander. Yeah, no, that guy's. Ever since he held out that contract, I've just been. It's been off-putting. I can't stand him. Anyways, no, I love Nylander.
he's the best.
I think it's something that's just not important. I think if it comes to, dude, I think if it comes to it, and it's the last 2-3 games of the season, and they don't need to win those games, he's getting
He
scratched.
better not be
Like,
at.
they're not playing
He
him.
better not be at 49 with a game to go. I don't need another one of these fucking. Let's just Matthews at 69 goals. Let's just focus all of our energy on getting him to 70, and then when he
Like,
doesn't do it,
I'm telling
we
you-
lose in the playoffs.
I'm telling you right now, if he's at like 47, 48, and it's like 3 games left in the year, they're not playing him. They're scratching
should.
him. They're scratching Matthews. They'll probably keep playing Marner and Tavares, but I think Matthews and Nylander should not play the last, I don't know, 3 games of the season, 2-3 games, especially Matthews.
Especially
should
Matthews.
absolutely not.
I
be
mean, the
playing.
reports on Matthews right now. Should he even be playing right now?
Who knows? I mean, he's looked amazing
He's
the past
good.
week
He's
or
good.
so. That's besides the point. Definitely shouldn't be playing the last 3 games of the season if they are in a position where they don't need to win those games.
Which is unlikely, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think maybe even in that situation, he shouldn't be playing.
Yeah. Do they play Tampa again?
But I think they play Tampa once and Florida twice, from what I remember seeing. I know they play Florida twice still, so those games are massive. If they win those games against Florida, I think that puts them in a position where they don't have to play those 2.
yeah.
But they play Florida next on Wednesday.
Oh, they have a back-to-back
And then
Florida.
they have a back-to-back, back-to-back Florida and Tampa.
Oh, what the
So those are big games. If they win those games, man,
Come on, man! It's the
do you
Leafs.
play
we're
them the
talking
rest
about.
of the season?
It's the Leafs we're talking about. They're not.
Yeah.
They're winning one of those games.
I mean, even if you win one, though,
I mean, it just has to be one of the ones against Florida.
that's what
that
I'm
means you
saying.
break
Like,
even
even
with
if you
them on
win
the
one
season.
game against Florida, you put. This kind of does depend, I think, on the Montreal Florida game right now. We'll see where that goes.
For
If they
sure.
lose this game, Huge. If Montreal
That is
wins this
huge.
game, that is huge for the Leafs. Huge.
I'm wrong. They don't break even on the season with Florida if they just win one, because they have not beat Florida yet this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
They've dropped two.
two.
Well, I mean, man, this is the tightest division race we have seen in a long time.
In the Atlantic, yeah.
It is brutal right now.
It's close. It's close.
It is brutal.
You need Florida to lose this game in hand today. Montreal clutch up.
That's what I'm saying, dude. We really need Montreal to win this kind of game in hand here
Nick
for
Suzuki
Florida
saved
because
me. Nick
no, because okay, let's be optimists here and say that the Leafs win against Anaheim today.
Okay.
Let's be optimistic. They win against Anaheim. That puts them to 94 points in 74 games. Florida loses today. That keeps them at 91 points in 73 games. That ties them with Tampa.
That's a good lead.
Both of those, the Leafs, Florida would have to win both games against the Leafs to overtake them in the standings. The Leafs can survive a tiebreaker right now against both of these teams because we lead right now in regulation and overtime wins.
Yes.
We're around the same in regulation wins, so it's probably going to tie there. The next tiebreaker is regulation and overtime.
Yep.
The Leafs are better in regulation and overtime wins than Florida and Tampa. We're at 43. Florida's at 39. Tampa at 41.
Yeah, and they're making up ground on goal
We can
differential
survive
too,
it.
so on
Yeah,
Florida,
but
not-
I don't think goal differential. I don't think it'll
I
get
don't
to
think
that.
so.
It'll probably stay at regulation overtime.
unless the
win.
Leafs have like
Uh,
7 shootout wins for the rest of the season
yeah, unless they've been going to the shootout a lot recently.
and not winning.
But no, I think it is. It's tight, but it's gonna come down to every game. Really, it's very volatile right
Yeah.
now. This game right now is important for the way the division stands right now.
Yeah, I'm writing Tampa
Yeah,
off a lot. Like I didn't think they were going to get to this point, and it's just they've just been kind of like a little bug.
It's
there.
the hot streak they've had.
Yeah, man, their home and away records are so different. They're 27-8-2 at home.
Yeah, they're shit on
They're
the road.
below 500 on the road.
They are shit on the
So
road. Shit.
whoever gets home ice on them.
Which we're talking about. Oh, it's the Leafs. The Leafs are gonna drop that game at home against Florida on Wednesday.
Right.
They're gonna win both games in the back-to-back against Florida and Tampa. I'm telling you right now,
That's a
gonna do
Leaf thing to do.
it is the most Leaf thing to do. They're going to win those 2 games against Florida and Tampa in that back-to-back next week. They're going to do it.
I'm just gonna
gonna
I'm just
happen.
gonna rhyme off for our viewers the teams they play for the rest of the season because this excites me to no
Yeah.
end. Tonight, Anaheim, Florida, Columbus.
On Wednesday.
Columbus, as long as you just don't start Dennis Hildeby, and you might have a chance. Florida again. Tampa the next day.
Besides the back-to-back, though, like it's Florida on Wednesday after a 2-day break, Columbus on Saturday after a 2-day
Yeah.
break, and then they go into the back-to-back after another 2-day
3-day.
break as well. So
Sorry, yeah, 2 days.
not
2
too bad. And it's not different time zones, thankfully.
True,
They're doing
true.
the back-to-back in
But
Florida.
then the last 4 games after that are Montreal, Carolina, Buffalo, and Detroit. Win those games, man. You gotta be Buffalo and Detroit.
Buffalo and Detroit. If the Marlies aren't playing that game,
Dude, even if they are.
dude, like, no, I'm saying like the Marlies should be playing.
Oh,
that
I
ga-
see.
like,
I see.
The
I
Leafs should
see.
be calling up the Marlies roster for that
and
game.
win.
Like, there is not a single member of that core 4 that should be playing that game.
No.
I don't know.
Rest.
I don't know how it works out with the cap if they like. We'll see. I don't know how that works out. If who they'll be able to rest, but yeah, this is an exciting part of the season, man.
It
We're
is,
we're in
it
a really
is.
tight race. Every win matters.
We just need the weather to get nicer,
Let's see
then
where
I can
this
start
goes.
getting excited about the playoffs. It's that spring air
Yeah.
I was talking about the last show. The delusion
spring
sets
air,
in.
dude.
We done with the Leafs, you think?
I think so. Yeah. Do we want to move on to Tortorella?
Sure.
All right, we're back. Yeah, so we'll go on to John Tortorella here. That happened right after the Leafs loss.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy.
That was kind of crazy.
When have we ever seen a coach just kind of like fire themselves like that. It's
Yeah.
been a while. I can't think of anything recently that's been like
Bill
that.
Peters throwing his stick into the crowd was pretty bad.
Like,
Oh man.
to quote John Tortorella after the game, I'm not really interested in learning how to coach this type of season where we're at right now.
I mean, right when I heard that quote, I'm like, you don't
done.
want a job. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, if we want to look back at his kind of tenure in Philadelphia,
Sure.
this kind of was a coach that we thought like he's kind of perfect for Philly.
Yeah.
But I think as we saw his tenure go on, and especially this season with Mitch Kov, and last year with kind of understated a little bit, but Bobby Brink as well last season.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a guy that fits this kind of NHL anymore, and that's fine.
Yeah.
He's had a long career. He's won a cup. Like, man, you've had a successful career. You took some dog shit teams, especially in like Columbus. Even last year in Philly, we forget they were in a playoff spot for 90% of the season
Yeah,
in Philadelphia last season. They were like he took
fuck.
some really bad teams.
The cat jumped on the keyboard. Almost knocked my computer down.
Dude, your cat loves fucking with our podcast. Like consistently just is our biggest hater.
Did I feed her? I can't remember if I gave her lunch.
Just admitting to being a terrible parent
Hey.
live on the show.
She got her breakfast.
Oh, I'm joking. But yeah,
yeah.
no, he's took some really bad teams, like especially in Columbus. He's had a successful career. I don't think he should coach again.
I mean, to kind of do the eulogy on John Tortorella's career, because I like you said, you don't think he should coach again. I don't think that he will.
Yeah, like I think seeing how his tenure went in Philadelphia, it just kind of proved that like this isn't a guy that just fits in today's NHL anymore, especially with like you have a talent like Mitch Kov on your team. That guy should never be scratched,
No.
and he's getting scratched like on a decently not consistent, but there's games where you're scratching like probably your second best player on the team and your future franchise player. Like you can't do that. You gotta like find other ways to work with this guy, especially when he's coming over from Russia.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is a completely new environment for the guy. Like it's a different league. Like I'm sorry, time passes on and moves on from everybody, and at some point you just kind of got to realize that, you know what, this isn't for me anymore. And I think he did that with his quote. He's not interested in coaching this type of team anymore. He doesn't want to coach a rebuilding team.
Yeah.
He's not really a learning type of coach.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's been
I don't know, man.
21 years since he won his Stanley Cup in Tampa, and that was
Wait, 21 years?
2004, dude. It's been 21 years, and that was
Holy shit, it's been 20 years.
yeah, and that was 3 years into his head coaching career. Like I mean, he went to the final with the Rangers, but even that was holy shit. That wasn't the finals, was it?
I mean, end of the day, he is like a successful coach. He's one of the most successful coaches, and one of the most unique in a sense. Very like, I don't know how to describe it. Just doesn't give a fuck. Like he will stand up for his team at any moment.
I mean,
And I think one of the things that players raved about with him was his honesty. He might yell at you, but you know where you stand at all times.
yes,
But
that's
I think
true.
his style of attempting that in this NHL doesn't
But I
work.
think one of the problems that we've seen with him in recent memory even is the good things we hear about John Tortorella only apply to some players. Like you said,
Yeah.
you always know where you stand with him. But then when Sean Couturier was scratched last season or however long ago that was,
right after making him captain.
yeah, he didn't know where he stood with him. He was like, I
Like,
I
what
don't
kind of
know
message does
why
that
I'm being
send?
scratched. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't know where he stood.
To make this a little bit about the Leafs, I think like Craig Berube is like a more better suited for today version of John Tortorella
Still
in
being
a
the
couple
hard
ways.
ass, but like being able to
A hard ass,
thought-
but a reasonable hard ass, and not like, you know, he's not blowing a gasket every 5 seconds when you're playing bad or something like that, or he's not like going to the media and like telling them to fuck off or some shit.
Yeah.
Like I like I said a million times, I just don't think John Tortorella fits anymore with his coaching
I mean,
style. It's a different kind of league.
He's certainly a unique coach nowadays where I think
Yeah.
kind of the appeal of him is that he doesn't have much of a filter and he just goes out there and says whatever he wants. But I just like, I understand how that can be entertaining, but I don't know if this is a good thing. Because, I mean, you said that he's a successful coach. I don't know that he is. Like, he's been in the league for 20 years. Like, he hasn't won a cup in a long time. He hasn't like been deep in the playoffs in
Still
13
has
years.
one more cup than a lot of other coaches can say that they have. Like at the end of the day, he won a cup. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
Even if it was a long time ago, he won a cup. You can't take that away from him. I'm not saying this is one of like the best coaches of all time or something. I'm saying he was like a decently successful coach.
More so than like some coach who coached the Senators 10 years ago whose name we don't remember. Is that your point?
Yeah, like, you know, he's a decently successful coach in his career. He's one of the most interesting. Not that it was always, you know, beneficial for him or for the team, but I think it's just like this was one of the most interesting characters I think in our sport for a long time, and it is interesting to kind of see him go now, just out of nowhere. Like I don't think he's coming back, and
I
don't know.
I wonder if he gets another shot.
It feels weird to see him just go.
I wonder if he gets another shot.
Maybe as like as an assistant somewhere, but I don't know if this guy can be a head coach anymore with the team. It's
I kind of feel like he'd get like, if he does get another shot, it'll be like with a struggling team. But I feel like that's kind of what this Philadelphia job was.
I was gonna say that's exactly what this was. This was really the last shot I think that he had, because there was this kind of commentary when he left Columbus.
Yeah.
We were having the same kind of discussion, like, oh yeah, there's no way this guy, you know, will really like coach again, or like it wasn't to this extent. But I think now, seeing how it went in Philadelphia, especially with how he handled the Mitchkov situation, I don't think that's attractive for a young and up and coming team to go and get that.
No, but it might be attractive.
You don't want this guy to ruin your star players.
It might be attractive for an old, out of touch team, which I mean, I
Maybe,
for some reason
but
can't think of any organization that's like that off the top of my head, but it's out there.
Boston.
There you go. Hey, there's a fit.
Like maybe Boston.
He's from Massachusetts, isn't he?
Don Sweeney would be the type of guy to hire John Tortorella at this point.
Born in Boston. John Tortorella's from Boston.
Did we just hire Boston's next coach?
I mean, Joe Sacco's not going to be there forever.
I guess we'll see how it goes. I guess
I would be interested to see it, because I mean, Boston's kind of in that place where they're ass. So maybe they take a shot.
Maybe they go get John Tortorella. Yeah. That is quite intriguing, to say the least.
Indeed.
Do we want to move off of John Tortorella?
Yeah, I think
now?
we've said everything we
can. Do you want? I had it in the outline here, but do you want to talk about the Oilers or just go to the playoff race? We are at 50 minutes here.
Okay, I've got something to say about the Oilers. I've been a little vocal about this. I'm worried about them in the playoffs. I know what everybody has said to me when I bring up this point is, but I think even on this show, you guys both said it to me last week. Draisaitl and McDavid are going to turn into gods in the playoffs, and that's probably true. I'm still worried about them. I think they have a worse team than they did last year. I think Stuart Skinner is worse than he was last year. I'm worried. I don't know how far they go.
Man, I want to be on the same train as you, but at the end of the day, man, like, they're going to play the Kings again. Yeah. The Kings have not changed that much.
That's the difference.
Besides coaching.
That's where you're wrong. I think they're much better this year.
I don't know, man. Like, listen, when Korpisalo was a King, gave them great goaltending, probably similar to what Darcy Kemper's doing now for them. Darcy Kemper probably a little better, but they still had some decent goaltending when Korpisalo went there.
Kemper's got a Stanley Cup.
Still shat the bed against Edmonton. Edmonton has had weaker teams than this, and I think their play relatively recently Their defense core is better than it was last year. It was. Jake Wallman was a huge get for them. I think their defense core is better than it was last year.
I mean, it's pretty much the same, but with Jake Wallman instead of Cody CCA.
Yeah, but Jake Wallman's better than Cody Cece.
Yeah.
Miles and bounds better than Cody
Yeah.
Cece. I just can't. I can't bring myself to bet against McDavid and Draisaitl in a series against a team that they've played. This is going to be the 4th year in a row and have beat them every single time.
That's completely fair.
I can't bet
completely
against
fair.
it. I can't bet against it. And listen, I think the Kings are playing great this season. If they play any other team but Edmonton, they have a way better chance. I just can't see them play the team that they've played 4 times. Like, this is going to be the 4th time in a row. I can't look at it and say, you know what, Dave, you know, I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know.
What
I have to see it to believe it.
What kind of changes things for me is it looks like Los Angeles is going to get home ice this time around. I think they at least have a better chance against Edmonton. I'm kind of like more recently leaning more towards where you are at now, where I don't think Edmonton loses round 1. I don't think they make it past. Who would they play round 2? Vegas.
I will say I don't know if they make the final.
I don't think they make round 3.
Their goaltending this season has just been god awful. Stuart Skinner is like easily
Let me grab his stats.
The most inconsistent player. I don't even want to say inconsistent because it's like
Consistently bad.
He might have a good like he's just been consistently kind of bad this season with a couple good games mixed in. Yeah, like it is concerning.
Yeah, he has.
They definitely need to figure out that goaltending situation this summer.
Yeah, he's played 49 games for the Oilers this season. He has an .894.
Not good enough.
Terrible. Like,
that's not gonna win you in the playoffs. And we saw him get hot in the playoffs last year, but can you bank on that 2 years in a row? I don't know if you can.
Maybe
you can.
Here's where it stands.
It gets to a certain point.
I think that it gets to a point. I think they probably beat the Kings. Probably be. I think they probably get to round 2. I think they probably get to round 2. They're not beating Vegas in round 2.
Or Colorado.
Or
Dallas. Or Winnipeg.
But
Maybe Winnipeg.
If
Winnipeg makes it out the first round.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Speaking of, Dallas clinched a playoff spot last night.
Yes. Oh, we never mentioned the Leafs can actually clinch a playoff spot.
Wait, really?
Today. Yeah, if Florida beats Montreal and Leafs beat Anaheim.
Well, I hope they don't.
So I don't really care if they clinch a playoff because they fucking clinched a playoff spot. It doesn't matter. Yeah. This playoff berth clinching means nothing to me.
I hope they don't clinch today because that would mean Florida wins.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I really could not care less if they clinch a playoff spot today or next week. Like, it really does not matter to me. They're in the playoffs regardless.
Hey, they could clinch. I wonder if they could clinch against Florida on Tuesday. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be pretty cool.
But they're not winning that game, so
they're not winning.
Still 1-1 halfway through the second. Florida and Montreal.
Yeah. Thank you for updating that. Do we want to talk about the playoff race update?
We must. We must
start
in the West.
So in the East, do you want to start in the West?
We've talked about
I guess it's less interesting. It's going to be Minnesota, St. Louis. Like I predicted last week. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a real hard one to predict. Minnesota, who has a 10-point lead on everybody, and St. Louis, who does not lose games anymore.
Hey, no, that second wild card was a little more interesting.
It was
last time we recorded.
I think my position last week was I really want Calgary or Vancouver to make it, but I think it's going to be St. Louis.
I started on Vancouver, and then St. Louis, I think, won their game, and I changed my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And Vancouver lost.
So, yeah. So, or I think that's what it was. Sorry, Vancouver lost, and that made me switch to St. Louis. So, yeah, St. Louis is probably the hottest team in the NHL.
Yeah,
right
they
now.
are. They are 9-1-0 in their last 10. They're on a 9-game winning streak.
Ridiculous.
They don't lose, man. They don't lose.
Dude, they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Jordan Binnington is like a Vezina candidate ever since the Four Nations.
Forgive me, Jordan. I was wrong.
Dude, we're so sorry, Jordan Binnington. Yeah, Robert Thomas has been insane. He has like 12 or 13 points in his this win streak.
Wow.
Same with Kyrou, same with Holloway. They're all popping
Man,
off.
that's one player the Oilers could really use today is Dylan Holloway.
They could use a 60-point, 25-goal winger right now that plays with a physical edge.
Yeah, he's better
I
than
don't
Jeff
know, man.
Skinner.
Could be pretty useful at $2 million. Makes less than Jeff Skinner, by the way.
What are they thinking?
But yeah, and then looking at the divisions here, Winnipeg's probably going to take first in the wild card. It's probably going to be Winnipeg, St. Louis.
Yeah.
It's looking like it's going to be Dallas, Colorado. Sorry.
I would bet on that, yeah.
That's a bloodbath.
First round is crazy, man.
That's terrible.
Oh my god.
And then in the Pacific, we're going to probably get Vegas versus Minnesota. Interesting series.
I think Vegas sweeps.
And then Vegas sweeps, eh? Yeah, Minnesota's been pretty brutal
Yeah,
recently.
they had a good start to the season, but
I could see
it's
that.
been rough lately.
Yeah, the Kaprizov injuries.
Is he still out? Is he playing?
Still
Oh my
injured. He's
God.
played like 30 games this year, man.
And he's having like a heart caliber start to the season too.
Yeah, he had 50 points in 37 games, I believe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't say I'm surprised because
Fucked.
like a lot of stuff came out about Minnesota's medical staff during the Four Nations. So I wonder, like, if they're
True.
just like terrible at their jobs.
Yeah. But yeah, and then like we mentioned earlier, LA and Vegas again for the 20 millionth time.
That should be interesting.
We'll see who gets home ice advantage in that series. They're tied in points right now, but LA does have the game in hand, so
Yeah, LA has just been so
I
much
guess
better
we'll
at
see.
home than on the road this season. They need that home ice
that
advantage.
is true. They need home ice advantage. All right, and then if we move to the East here, the wild card race, we got the Senators. They're running away with that first wild card spot. We've kind of been on that all season, or not all season, but ever since they've really upped their game here, they've been in that first wild card spot for the past couple weeks pretty
They've got a
comfortably.
big lead, and they've got a couple games in hand on the Rangers, who are the closest team to them. So I mean, they'd have to lose a lot of games to lose that spot.
Yeah, it's looking like first in the Atlantic is going to be playing the Sens.
Yep.
And then the second wild card is where everything gets crazy here. So currently New York, but they've played the most games out of all the people in this wild card race here at 74. They're at 77 points. After that, you get Montreal at 75 points with 2 games in hand. Columbus has upped their game again with Montreal kind of hitting another little cold streak here. They're at 75 points, 33 wins, 72 games played. They're tied with Montreal. We have the Islanders still kind of in this at 72 games played, 74 points. Detroit's won a few games here recently. They're at 74 points and 73. They're the long shot here probably to make it, but they're still kind of in this, man.
Yeah.
This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 team race for this second wild card, and nobody wants it. This is a copy and paste from last season.
Yeah. No. This
This is the exact same thing this was last season.
Yeah. It's hilarious right now. I mean, ultimately, I still think Montreal will be the team to make it. But Columbus made it interesting. Like
I'm telling you, Columbus is right back.
I don't believe in the Rangers. I don't believe in the Islanders. It's going to be Montreal or Columbus. But fuck, man, that's close,
tight, dude. This is a copy and paste from last season where we had Washington right in it, New York right in it as well, Detroit right in it. Pittsburgh was somehow right in it. Philadelphia was also right in it, right until kind of the end of the season when they fell off. It's a copy and paste, except this is worse. This
worse.
is so tight, but I am gonna say it's probably gonna loosen up a little bit once it gets a little more secure, because it was kind of like that last season too, where there were so many teams in it. But this is crazy, man. There's 6 teams right now within like 2 points of each other for this last wild card.
Yeah, and they all are like below 500 in their
Ass.
last 10, which is hilarious.
They're all ass. They're all ass. Terrible. Just awful.
Montreal, this is a big game for them today. They have to win this game.
They have to. They
dropped
to win
one
this.
to Detroit earlier this week.
I think they believe they did, yeah. But no, these are really important games for all these wildcard teams right now. Huge game for Montreal. They got to win this. That capitalizes on that game. One of those game in hands on New York. Dude, the big thing is you got to really capitalize on games in hand. It's It's really tough. I don't. Montreal did not lose to Detroit recently. They lost. They won against Ottawa actually a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Who did they play last night?
But last nobody.
Day before?
Carolina.
That's what it was. 4-1?
Yeah.
Okay,
4-1,
that's what
yeah.
it was. Red team.
Oh, hello,
Hello,
Kat.
Kat.
Hello, Jane.
This is Jane.
Yep.
Say hi.
Jane reveal. Hi, Jane. Jane, how do you feel about the wild card race in the East right now?
She's not a fan.
Not
She
a
thinks
fan,
it's
eh?
stupid that they all suck.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you know what? Can't even argue her
She's
on
cheering for Buffalo.
that. She's just trying to be
Yeah,
different.
she likes an underdog.
Just trying to be different. Also, Buffalo randomly is like 6-4 in their last
The
10.
only team who's like respectable in that.
Dude, they're like for some reason locking in the past couple weeks. Like it's so odd.
This was the wrong time, guys.
Yeah, like they're just randomly locking in, and I'm here for it.
The way
man.
everyone's losing,
They-
they're 11 points out. It doesn't
Dude,
happen.
they were on a 3-game win streak last week.
Oh fuck!
What? Like what? They won it against Vegas.
What? Oh yeah, they did.
On the 15th.
Did you see what happened in that game? It was
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it. No.
Eichel scored with like less than a minute left to, I think,
Oh,
tie.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
no, to get them within what? No, to take the lead. And then Buffalo pulled their goalie, and I think it was Hurdle who tried to get Eichel the empty net goal, missed. Deline scored, tied the game. Then I think the Sabres won in shootout.
Oh shit.
It was crazy, man. It was.
That is cinema.
I know.
That is
especially
cinema.
like Vegas in Buffalo.
Absolute cinema.
Like that's a
Yeah.
feel
Wait.
good
Hold
win.
on. Sorry. So, I'm just gonna fact check you. There.
Okay.
1, 2.
Asshole.
Yeah. So no. Yeah. No. You're right. That
Yeah,
was
I
the
know.
goal. Jack Eichel scored the goal to put them ahead.
Sorry.
Darlene gets the goal back to tie it with 15 seconds left. And then they win in the shootout with Alex Tuck getting the game winning goal. Holy shit.
Nice.
That is incredible.
That's awesome.
That is absolute cinema.
That is cinema.
I love
Pure
that.
cinema.
We need more of that. And then going back to it again, tight ass race in the Atlantic. We talked about that like all show.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need-
Leafs right now in the lead with 92. We'll see how Florida's game goes. And then in the Metro, also kind of been the same the whole
Yeah,
season.
it's gonna be
Caps are gonna play whoever that wild card 2
Yep.
team is, and then Carolina and New Jersey are going to play each other, and New Jersey's going to get swamped because they don't have Jack Hughes or Dougie
Yep.
Hamilton.
And Carolina's gonna easily get home ice in that, so that's not too much of a race in the Metro there.
Yeah, not really that exciting in the Metro. They kind of suck.
Yeah,
They're annoying.
but this
Carolina 8-2 in their last 10.
why are
Holy
they
shit.
good?
Trade Mikko Rantanen and just like get better. Also, Mikko Rantanen has like been bad.
It's been like still.
Yeah,
Dude.
I'm not gonna put too much on that because like this is his third team this season, and like I'm sure next year he'll be fine.
I think so too.
But yeah, interesting. He's been pretty bad this tenure here with Dallas.
You know what I only realized earlier this week, which surprised me about Dallas, is that they've been this good this season, and like Tyler Seguin hasn't played in a long time. I forgot about Tyler Seguin.
Actually, sorry, I lied.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Mikko Rantanen just randomly locked in. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Last time I checked, he was at like 7 games played or 8 games played and 4 goals. So he's
Yeah,
had
he
some
has.
crazy games here the last couple of games that I was not
Yeah,
aware
because
of.
he's at 11 points in 11 games now.
Yeah, so my apologies for false information spreading and bad podcasting.
Yeah, good job, Mikko
I will
Rantanen.
never show up on this podcast again.
Thank God.
I'm gonna exile myself from this pod. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah,
Just me left.
we forgot to mention the Cam York stuff.
Oh yeah, okay. Go for it.
Just interesting. Did they fight? Did they like throw hands?
Oh, well, like,
I'm, like,
York and
interested.
Tortorella?
Yeah.
I mean, could we have like a Tony D'Angelo, Alexander Georgiev situation on our hands?
like that's what I'm saying. Yo, but it is kind of interesting. They're like taking it on the wrong person, I think.
What, Cam York?
Cam York was not the worst defenseman in that game against the
No,
Leafs.
like I don't think it was
Like not even close.
I don't know what happened. Like I doubt it was something like that. Like it might have been something personal.
He had
like
like
who knows?
he had like one bad mistake, but he was by far like not the worst defenseman.
He's
in
one
that
of the
game.
better defensemen.
And then they dressed him and benched him the entire game against who was it that they
Montreal.
played after? It was Montreal.
And
I think.
Tortorella wasn't even there.
Benched him the entire
What happened?
Benched him the entire game. That is insane. Cam York is requesting a trade out of Philadelphia
as he should.
this season.
Get him in Toronto. We could
Like 100,
come home.
yeah, Mateo would like have a fit if we traded for Cam York.
Why?
Dude. Just another like undersized soft defenseman.
Undersized.
That guy would like start losing his
Hold on.
mind. Yeah, Cam York's like 5'10".
What?
It's a tiny little guy.
Dude, he's
No?
6 feet.
Am I wrong?
2-inch difference. That's a big difference.
Undersized. Yeah, massive difference. Undersized needs to be at least 6'5".
Yeah, he shoots left.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
He'd be better than Benoit.
Better than Benoit. We're on that type timing, dude. Dude, that guy had 30 points last season.
I mean,
What?
he's all right. I'll take him.
I'm excited to see who Philadelphia hires next.
How's Jamie Drysdale doing?
Horrible. He's been.
Oh, wow,
just
he's a
bad.
negative 27. I mean,
Yeah,
he has 19 points in
just
63
was not
games.
that's not that good, man. He's an offensive guy too.
Yeah, he's a 6th
like,
overall pick.
hey, you know what? They're gonna hire, I think, a better coach because I think Danny Briere and John Tortorella just had different visions for this
Seems
team.
like it.
The players that Briere has kind of been drafting and acquiring are just different kind of guys than what John Tortorella normally likes. I think they're gonna hire definitely a lot more of like Jay Woodcroft.
There you go. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking.
Jay
Woodcroft in
Woodcroft.
Philly.
He's kind of vanished from coaching talks because there hasn't been really coaching talks much this season. I
No,
find.
there weren't a lot of
So,
guys fired. Like, I mean, other than, Jim Montgomery and then St. Louis saying, "See ya,
Yeah.
Drew Bannister. We like Montgomery better than you."
it
Yeah,
worked out.
good
man.
decision.
It worked out. But yeah, no, I think I'm interested to talk about that this summer. That
Yeah.
Philadelphia coaching situation because there's definitely a clear vision that they're going for. I think that Danny Briere is kind of aiming for, and John Tortorella just wasn't that.
I mean, you got to do
see where that
what
goes.
what every team who is having success does, right? Like, you rather go young or
just get an identity.
get an identity. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that's
Do you
everything.
want to do the puck doku like we did last week?
Maybe not. We're at a minute. We're at an hour 14.
We
Could probably
can
wrap. We
wrap.
could save it
We'll
for
save
next
it for
week. Yeah, whenever we do pod next, we can
Sure.
do it. All right. So thank you all for watching. That was a very interesting podcast. Me and Jacob here. I don't think we should ever do it with Mateo again.
I completely
That was
agree. I think
great.
this is a lot better.
That was an awesome
Yeah.
episode. Yeah, awesome episode. Yeah, don't forget to if you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing. Helps us out a lot.
If you follow us on Instagram at
Yes.
eyes.on.leafs.
eyes.on.leafs. TikTok is eyes_on_leafs. Yeah, stay tuned for the next one. We'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.
Thank you.